Sweet. All right. What's going on? See a couple people jumped on. How is everyone? Let's get some more people in here. All right. I'll start the topic once we get some actual people in the chat. But I'm sure people are at work right now. It's only 2, for me at least. Hey, Mage, how you doing? Bubba, what's going on, Bubba? I'm doing good. So far, so good. $52 Vader, huh? How the tanks doing, Mage? It's good to hear. Yeah, I just got some 2 conches for my tank. Just threw them in. Interesting to watch what they do. Yeah, so I ended up running into an issue with my tank. The issue of no nutrients. The way I set it up, it was just performing too efficiently. and my nitrates would always be at 0, and my phosphates would also be at 0. So I started noticing some of my SPS fading away, no RTN or anything like that, or STN, but just slowly and slowly fading away. My setup, let's see how I can do this. Good question. All right. I think I'm gonna have to do it like this. Okay. Can you guys see it? All right, so what ended up happening in my tank, as I said, nitrates were just 0, phosphates were at 0, so I had to think of some way to increase the nutrients in the tank. So I turned my skimmer down to 12 hours a day, and instead of running my reactor for 24 hours, I was basically running it on a reverse sliding schedule from my tank. This still didn't help at all, like 0. It had no effect on the nutrients in the tank. Still, everything was reading 0. So I took the dive and started dosing potassium nitrate, or also known as spectracide stump remover. I've been dosing it for about a week now, and so far I'm having amazing results with it. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy to dose. Just got to know the correct calculation. Hey, what's going on, Dave? But I have the calculation here somewhere. So with that spectracide stump remover, you're supposed to dissolve 10 grams in 1 liter of water. That 10 grams contains 6.14 grams of actual nitrate. So the solution in that 1 liter equals out to 6,140 ppm of nitrate. So if you were to dose 1 ml of the solution per 2 gallons of tank water, that will boost the nitrate by 0.8 ppm. Hey, what's going on, Phil? How you guys doing? Great to see you guys. Oh, so you started dosing phosphates as well, huh? What are you using for your phosphates? Let me get you a link, Phil, if you want to hop in with me. Yeah, I heard that Neophos is some good stuff. Whoever wants to jump in, jump on in, guys. Yeah, but it was crazy. So the first day that I started dosing the potassium nitrate, I had to dose 125 mils into my tank for it to be even detectable. And then the next day, I did 50 mils. The day after that, I did 100. The day after that, 50. But now it's been stably at 50 mils a day to keep everything happy at like 3 to 4 ppm. Hey, what's going on, Phil?
Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. Just I'm actually having troubles with my tank. That's why I'm decided to dose the nitrate and phosphate. My situation's a little different though, because I wound up getting marine velvet, and so I had to remove all my fish, and
Yep.
so I've been like ghost feeding the tank and feeding the coral 3 to 4 times a week. But with all that said, and the fish being gone, my nitrates and phosphates, they plummeted to zero. And
Okay.
as soon as that happened, all my LPS started like getting all sucked up. They weren't like fully expanding like they were. And
Yeah.
then my SPS started to go pale.
Mm.
And a couple of them, I was getting a little bit of stripping. And then the worst thing that happened though was, and I've read about this, the different forums. I don't know exactly how it works, but when the numbers hit zero, then I got a really bad outbreak of flagellates.
Yeah.
And so there's a big thread on Reef to Reef right now about dosing nitrates and phosphates to help rid your tank of that.
Yep.
It'll basically feed the bacteria to outcompete the dinos, and so that's kind of what I've been doing. I was going to use the stump remover, but since I needed to dose both, Brightwell has Neophos and Neo Nitro,
Yeah, I actually
and
have a bottle of the Neo Nitro.
yeah, so that's what I've been using, and
Got it right
you know
here.
I've been dosing like 2 mils a day. And
Uh-huh.
right now, my nitrate's up to 2 ppm, and the phosphates staying pretty steady at about 0.04.
Okay.
And then notice a little bit of dieback on the dinos, and then starting today, really, my LPS are starting to kind of puff up again, and so I'm thinking it's making a big difference.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
what were you seeing?
So basically, when I started running ultra low nutrients without even actually wanting to, um, what ended up happening is as you said, the LPS were shriveling up. My ACANs looked like they were melting, and my hammer wasn't, expanding like it usually would. My torch was getting all sucked up, and um, it was more of the expensive SPS that were showing the signs first before like the green slime or anything like that. My red planet was showing really small polyp extension. My millies weren't showing much polyp extension at all. They were all fading away. But as soon as I dosed the nitrates into my tank the first time, they instantly puffed up. I mean, it was instant gratification. I was pretty happy about that. Um, but the thing was, so I was feeding pretty heavy before I started the nitrate dosing to try to bring the nitrates up. But the only thing that I was bringing up was my phosphates and not my nitrates.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha.
I didn't want to imbalance, so I kind of chilled out on the feeding, started the nitrate dosing, got my nitrates up to around 3 or 4 ppm, which it's been holding stable. But then I started noticing my phosphates were dropping too low because obviously the more nitrates you have in the water, the more phosphates are going to be getting taken out naturally.
Right.
So started feeding heavy again, and now I'm maintaining around, as I said, 3 to 4 nitrates ppm, and my phosphates are hovering anywhere from 0.012 to 0.02.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's kind of like right where you want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they. This was the first tank that this new tank I set up that I was going to try to run ultra low nutrients. I'm using the Aquaforest program, but and I think I probably would have been okay because everything was doing good, and up until the point where I had to pull all the livestock, and that it took a huge hit. And the one thing that surprised me though, I'm fairly new to keeping SPS. All the time I've been reefing, I pretty much kept LPS and softies. But I know one of the more sensitive coral, I have a sunset Millie, and even when my numbers tanked, that thing was. I expected it to be one of the first to start showing signs, but it was like one of the only SPS that I have that even when the numbers tanked, to still show good polyp extension and not really lose any color or anything like that. So
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of a weird situation, but I'm learning as I go on this.
Yeah, I mean, millies they're weird. They can be very finicky because I have about 3 millies in my tank. My pink millie, it's been acting weird. It doesn't have as much polyp extension as it usually does. But my ultra millie, which is like yellow tips and purple, red, and blue, um, it's got its polyps out like crazy. They haven't gone anywhere from start to finish. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
different. Let me see what AL said. Would it be a good idea to use supplements that are used for planted tanks? Um, it some of them you can, like I think it's called Seachem Flourish.
Yeah, I've read about that one too. They have the Flourish.
Yeah, you can use that, but it's just some of the problems with planted tank supplements is that they have certain elements that you wouldn't want to add into your tank. If you're trying to add nitrate into your tank, I personally would suggest potassium nitrate, sodium nitrate, calcium nitrate, and I definitely would not suggest strontium nitrate because strontium is like the lowest element in seawater. And the strontium nitrate supplement actually contains a lot of strontium, and you would be easily overdose the tank with it. But if you're worried about bringing your potassium up with the potassium nitrate, I would say sodium nitrate is the easiest way to go.
What did you do? You used the Spectracide.
Yeah.
What did you use for did you take like a cup of water and then measure out a certain amount to get your mixture? I think I missed that part when I first joined the chat.
Yeah, so let me tell you how the calculation works. So
okay,
you dissolve 10 grams of the Spectracide granules into 1 liter of RODI water. That 10 grams contains 6.14 grams of actual nitrate. So that 1 liter of solution is going to have a ppm strength of 6,140. So if you were to add 1 milliliter of the solution per 2 gallons of tank water, that would boost your nitrate by 0.8 ppm.
0.8 ppm. Yeah, I'm going to take all these notes down because I'm sure that's probably a cheaper way to go than to keep buying these bottles of this
so
Neophos.
This is kind of how I thought about it. it was like $6.50. Hey Tomer, it was like $6.50 for the stump remover, and it has a pound of it inside, so that's 450 plus grams. So if you use 10 grams for a liter, which is 1,000 milliliters, correct? Um, and I'm dosing 50 mils a day to keep my nitrates at 3 to 4. That 10 grams is going to last me a very long time, and I still have, what is it, like 440 grams of spectracide left. So that's $6 would last me years.
Yeah. Yeah, this stuff here I'm dosing, I got it's 500 mil, 17-ounce bottle. I think it was 20 something dollars, and I'm dosing like 4 mils a day. So,
Okay.
I'm gonna burn through this stuff pretty fast. And
Yeah, and the thing is, like, since I'm dosing 50 mils, I'm thinking on my next batch, the next liter I'm gonna make of the stuff, instead of using 10 grams, I'm gonna use 20 grams, which will double the concentration. So that way, instead of me dosing 50 mils a day, I'll be able to dose 25. Makes it a little easier.
yeah, are you dosing on a doser, or are you just hand dosing?
No, so far I'm just hand dosing. Because there's going to be a saturation point. Once all the microfauna and all the organisms in the tank have basically sucked up their fill and they're just now at a steady rate consuming it, my dosing amount is going to drop down to 50, because that's what I've noticed. I've done a lot of research on it too. That's what I've noticed most people seeing, is that it takes more in the beginning, and then once everything balances out and takes care of itself, you have to dose less and less of the nitrate.
Yeah. Do you think you'll get to a point where you can like back off completely and the tank will just stable out?
I hope so. That'd be nice.
That's kind of what I'm looking at too. I think once I get my fish back in, I still have like 40 days to go, but I think once I start getting my livestock in and getting, that bio load back in there, because before that happened, I wasn't really reading any nitrates, but I only have like a Salifert kit. I don't really have anything that tests super low concentration of nitrate. And then, but I was always getting 0, but I was reading like 0.03 on phosphate, before the fish came out.
For a nitrate test kit, this is what I recommend the most. It is the most accurate and the best for nitrate.
The NIOS. Oh yeah. Sabella fellow was talking about that one too. He says that he's tried them all and he likes that one the best.
Yeah, because the card that comes with it, like the color card, it's on point. This is what the color card looks on it, and you have 2 vials. You put your clear vial here and the one that you've mixed and done all your stuff with here, and you just move them over, and it's really precise. You're gonna know that, hey, I'm in between 3 and 5, or I'm in between 5 and 12. It's really easy to tell.
How low does it go down? Does it just go down to 0, or does it go down into like the decimals?
It goes 0, 1, 3, 5, 12, 25, and so on.
Okay.
So, but I was able to see the difference between 0, like in between 0 and 1. You know what I mean? I was able to see that it's at 0.05, because it wasn't perfectly clear, but it had a slight hint of color to it.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that test I'm using, it's kind of the color change, or the color is, sometimes it's hard to tell. And, with the Salifert, or is it Salifert? Yeah. You can look through the side and compare it on the card, but still, man, I don't know if it's my eyes or it's just the test, but I'm always asking my wife, hey, what color does this look like to you? Just to double check myself, because it's kind of hard to read.
Yeah, Salifert, it's all right. That's why the main reason I say this NIOS is good, because their color chart with that little thing is awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna put an order into BRS on. They're having a group buy on the 12th, 10 times points or something like that. So I'm putting in an order for some supplies. So I'll pick one of those up.
Okay. And hey, AL, yeah, if those supplements contain trace amounts of copper, you're not going to want to use that because over time your copper is going to get leached into your rock, and it's going to build up the concentration in your rock over time, and it's going to make it toxic over time. And I've read with that flourish that some people had other heavy metal toxicities they've run into with that as well. So that's why I say if you're going to do nitrate dosing, stick to the potassium nitrates and the sodium nitrates. Makes it a lot easier. And if you want to dose phosphates, I think that that Brightwell's Neophos or whatever it is, that stuff's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'll second that. I mean, this is the first time I've used it, and I mean, I just follow basically the instructions on the bottle, and it's dead on. It does exactly what it says it's going to do as far as, you know, how much it'll raise it, and
yeah,
it seems to be pretty good stuff.
Yeah. So my biggest concern was since I was dosing and I am dosing 50 mils of potassium nitrate a day, I was getting worried that I might overdose on potassium in my tank, but I haven't had that issue at all. So what I did is I ended up going to my buddy's store and picked up one of these, the Giesman potassium kalium test kit, which is it's a pretty easy test kit and it's pretty awesome. And after a week of me dosing the potassium nitrate, I'm only at 387 ppm, which the threshold for potassium is just like calcium. So anywhere from 300 to 450 would be good. 300 being on the low end where you might see some of your SPS struggling. So
Yeah, that's one thing I've never tested for, potassium. I know it's important, but I've always
yeah,
just kind of relied on my water changes and other.
yeah,
I think some of the Aquaforest has a little bit of that in it.
yeah, it does for sure. They have a specific potassium element as well, but usually you won't test for it. The only reason, as I said, I got the test kit was just to make sure I'm not overdoing it because of the spectricide.
Sure.
But it's turning out good. I'm not having any issues with it. It's doing its job.
No, I'm glad you came on with this because I've been reading a lot. I mean, I've read hundreds of threads about spectricide stump remover, but that, to be honest with you, I was just kind of afraid to use it, you know, because it is, you know, it's really not designed for aquariums.
A stump remover.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you know, I know people do it, and I've read all the threads, and I know it works. But that's kind of why in my case, just so I was, you know, I went with the Neo Nitro by Brightwell.
Yeah,
and,
you know, I was worried about that at first too, but I contacted Randy Holmes, you know,
oh yeah,
and I basically spoke to him, and he said what spectricide is it's pure potassium nitrate. There's all the other impurities inside of it don't bother a reef tank at all. So that's nothing that we have to worry about. And he said, in all honesty, in his opinion, even if I were to order like some USP, you know, FCC grade potassium nitrate off of Amazon or something like that, he said they're going to be very close to having the same impurities and the same things. You know what I mean?
right.
So, in all honesty, why would I pay $15 for something I can pay $6.50 for?
Yeah. Plus, you can just get it right there at Home Depot.
Yeah, it was easy. I went to Lowe's and I found the little, you know, plant killer, weeds be gone section, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, it was right there. I was like, perfect. Just grabbed it, went to the dollar store, got myself a little 2-liter food grade container, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, man. I'll tell you what, dude. This new tank has been giving me the blues, man. The Velvet, outbreak, and then so I have 2 quarantine tanks set up right now. And then right when I had ordered a purple tang and a yellow, or not a yellow tang, yellow eye cold tang, right before I moved all the fish out of the main display, I had ordered them, and they've been in quarantine in a separate tank for a month. I went to feed them last night, and purple tang had egg on them. So it's like I got ick in one and velvet in the other, and it's just been, but it's a good thing they were already in quarantine, so it was pretty easy to treat.
Oh yeah, AL. So too much potassium in the tank, it'll be just like any other heavy metal toxicity. It could cause bleaching on spots, tissue necrosis, stunt the growth. Basically, as anything that there's too much of in our tanks will mess up the growth of anything and start killing stuff. Tomer, it's here. I'll write it down what I'm talking about. There it is. Yeah, believe me, when I first thought of it, I was like, all right, if I can buy this stuff in Lowe's and it's in like the pesticide, and if it can kill a stump, why in the hell would I put that in my tank? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I was the same way though. The first time I used the Bear for like a coral dip, the Bear insect killer, total control or whatever it's total complete, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. I mean, there's plenty of people that have used it, but I don't know. When you still, for me, I just get worried using stuff like that. But after hearing you and getting this formula and stuff, I think instead of spending $20 on the next bottle, I will definitely use that instead because it's doing the same thing.
Yeah. See, and the thing is, I ordered that Neo Nitro. I have it right here. You know what I mean? I ordered it and I put regular shipping on it, so it was gonna take a week. And during that week is when I talked to Randy, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna jump the gun and go get that Spectracide because I mean, the sooner I get it, the better. I went and got it, started using it, and I shouldn't have even gotten that Neo Nitro.
Yeah, I could still use it.
Yeah, at one point when I run out of the stump remover. It'll probably go bad by then.
So you saw an immediate, like almost immediate response, huh? As soon as you dosed?
Instant response. I mean, instantly. The minute I dosed it into the return chamber, and I looked at my ACANs, which were shriveled up, and like I could see with my own eyes the tentacles start coming out, like the feeder tentacles. It started taking in water again and puffing up. My Space Invader Pectinia, which is right over here, um, it was pissed off as well because it would deflate and it would look really weird, and you can see all the ridges in it like too hard. You know what I mean? It looked like the coral had anorexia or something. And that started taking in water as well, puffed up really nice, and it's been really good after that. It's been nice and puffy, looking kind of like a bubble coral per se.
Yeah, they were just starving.
Yeah, for sure. My ACANs, I mean, within a couple of days, started showing more color in the rims. My PC Rainbow, which I have right over here, before it was like pinkish tips with a yellow green base, like where it's encrusting. But now it's actually starting to turn all red with a yellow and green base. Like the actual whole skeleton is turning red, which I think is awesome. My red planet, it's before when I first got that coral and I had my radion, I ended up actually bleaching it. So the skeleton was just white, but the polyps were still red. Um, and then I got the T5s. It started getting a little bit of like pinkish tips and stuff like that on the skeleton. But as soon as I started dosing that nitrate, um, the skeleton's turning solid red, and it's getting that green coloring over it as well. So it's looking much better.
That's cool. Yeah, I noticed your what kind of T5 fixture is that? Is that a Giesman?
No, it's a ATI 8 by
Okay.
24. Um, damn it, dropped my headset. But it's a ATI 8 by 24. It's not the dimmable one, nothing special.
Just the
Um,
rank. Yeah, I have the same one in 36 inch. I have a 6 bulb one though.
yeah, um, I'm loving it. I have 5 blue plus, 2 coral plus, and 1 true actinic.
Nice. No, you're not supplementing with the LED at all,
Not as of right now. So my next plan is in about 2 weeks or so, I'm gonna order just the 6 bulb because the 8 bulb is a little bit too much. Like two of the bulbs are pretty much over my AIO section, which is my sump section on the tank.
huh? Uh-huh.
I don't really need light there. So I think the 6 bulb will be more than enough. And at that point, I'm gonna get that Reef Bright Actinic, the 24 inch.
Oh yeah, that'll be nice. That'll look good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of I had the 36 inch 6 bulb over my 58 for a long time, but what I probably should have did, I didn't really like the look of it. I was running 4 blue plus, a coral plus, and a purple plus, and I just didn't like the look. But at that time, I didn't know if I knew about the Reef Brights, but I kind of wish I just would have ordered one of those instead.
Yeah.
I want to put in AP 700 on it,
Okay.
and it actually the tank to me does better with AP 700 than it did with the T5. It seemed for some reason, even like at 12 inches, 14 inches off the water, with six bulbs, I was burning coral, man. I couldn't. Most of my LPS just it was too much for them. So
Really?
I even I pulled a couple of bulbs out, and I was able to keep the tank fairly stable like that. But the corals always looked to me like they were just like withered and like almost like they were trying to hide from the light. It was just like too much. And I think at one point before I switched to the LED, I even I went out and bought some like smoked window screen, and I lined that over my screen top just to kind of cut back some of that light. But I couldn't figure it out because most people have better luck with the T5 fixtures, but for some reason it was just seemed like it was cooking my corals.
All right, so you guys want a close-up of the tank, huh? I'm on my laptop. Don't judge me.
Hey, 52, I gotta pop out. I got a phone call here, so
Sounds
but hey,
good, bro.
man, yeah, thanks for the stream, man. This is a great topic. Good talking to you.
Yeah, you too, brother.
All right,
Anytime.
take it easy. See
You
you.
too. Bye. All right, I can't see the chat right now, guys, because I'm looking at what the camera is showing on my laptop. All right, back to the chat. Give me a sec, guys. All right. There we go. Yeah, Tomer. It's so the Spectracide stump remover. It's made for killing stumps, increasing the rate of how fast they deteriorate. But Tomer, if you're having issues getting that, if you look at if you go on Amazon, um, look at sodium nitrate or potassium nitrate or calcium nitrate. Either of those three are a great way of supplementing nitrate. Obviously, calcium nitrate is going to add a little bit of calcium into your tank as well, so you're going to want to monitor that. No, TMG, I definitely didn't fill my tank on the live stream. But yeah, I just think a lot of people, they're scared of using that potassium nitrate um, because it really is a concentrated form of nitrate. So you have to be really careful. And that formula that I gave is specific to potassium nitrate, so it won't work the same way for sodium nitrate. Um, but it's you got to take it easy. Um, I was testing my nitrates 3 times a day when I first started dosing it, but now I'm at the point of just once a day. I'll test my nitrates real quick just to see what they're hovering at. Yeah, sodium nitrate would be better if you're worried about potassium. Yeah, of course. Um, but what I've noticed so far is that the potassium hasn't been rising crazy at all. Here, I'll give you the formula. So the formula for the Spectracide is to dissolve 10 grams of the granules into 1 liter of RODI water. Of that 10 grams, 6.14 grams of that is actual nitrate. So the solution in that 1 liter of water will be 6,140 ppm of nitrate. So if you were to add 1 mil of that solution per 2 gallons of tank water, that will boost the nitrate by 0.8 ppm. Um, so the reason why I'm dosing it is the tank is just too efficient at destroying nitrates and phosphates. I definitely overdid it with the marine pure by putting 2 quarts in here into one of the chambers. I also have a protein skimmer and a half-gallon macroalgae reactor, which you guys see right there, that big old thing right there. Um, and they were just doing too good of a job. I reduced my skimming from 24 hours a day to 12 hours a day. Uh, I reduced my light schedule on my reactor from 24 hours a day to 18 on and 6 off. So during my peak hours of my light, the reactor will be turned off. So that's for 6 hours. Um, and yeah, I was still having nitrate, like no nitrate issues and no phosphate issues. And that's why I started dosing. Yeah, the whole tank is run on a Apex. So my skimmer only runs when my lights are on. The reason why I chose when the lights are on, because at nighttime, most of your coral, like the ACANs, LPS, SPS, will have their feeder tentacles out, and you would actually want more particulates in your water during that time for them to catch stuff. Yeah, for sure. I mean, in all honesty, if I could get my nitrates up to 10 ppm, I would definitely do that. Um, I think 10 ppm is a great number to be at. It's abundant amount of nitrate for the corals, for all of them. But I'm just worried, since I am using the potassium nitrate, if I bump up my daily dosing of 50 mils to 100 mils to maintain 10, that I would at that point overdose my potassium for sure. So I'm fine with 3 or 4 ppm of nitrate. Uh, Tomer, so if you're having issues with phosphates, one thing I can definitely recommend is you get fresh water flake food, like flake food for freshwater fish. Those flake foods are known to have extremely high phosphates, a lot more so than any marine flakes. Um, and that can definitely boost up your phosphates in your tank. Yeah, TMG. I used to do a 20% water change, which was 5 gallons every week, but I've reduced that down to every other week, so 40% once a month. Um, yeah, yeah. So water change every other week, guys. 5 gallons. Um, in all honesty, that's a debatable topic of how much do they actually need. It's going to be anywhere from 0.5 ppm of nitrate and 0.01 ppm of phosphate. Um, that's the bare minimum, and you can go all the way up to 20 ppm of nitrate and 0. Just zero point 0.1 of phosphate, which would be a little high. So I would say probably 0.08 for the phosphates. I did not fill this tank on Rico's stream. I had this tank filled before I even started streaming. I think Paul filled his tank on Rico's stream, his drop off tank. What do you mean pages, Tomer? Yeah, that was for sure somebody else, TMG. That was not me. My YouTube channel wasn't even created when I started this tank. But all right, guys, I think I'm gonna hop off for now. I got a couple of things, couple of errands I got to take care of. If you guys have any questions about any of the dosing calculations, I could get you guys the sodium nitrate dosing calculations, calcium nitrate, um, whatever you guys need. You guys can just throw it on the comments under this video once it's going to post up onto my stream. Um, no, Tomer. So, as in just the flake food here. So, this would be, let me see, I can't see myself. Where is it? So yeah, you can't see nothing because of my light. So just your regular flake food that you would use, it's the little tiny flakes. You can't see crap, can you? Probably not. Yeah, probably not. Just the regular flake food, but make sure it's not the marine one because the marine ones tend to have a lot less phosphate than them, just because most people suffer from high phosphates. I mean, yeah. Um, so if you get the freshwater flakes, they have a very high amount of phosphates. So you'll be able to use that. It'll definitely increase your phosphates in your tank. Yep. All right, later, guys. This video will definitely be posted up on my channel. If you guys have any questions about nitrate dosing or the formulas or anything like that, or even phosphate dosing, just throw me a comment with your question and I'll get to you guys. All right, guys, have a great one.